CDBG Grant Well and Walk Tour.
Well, I might have called up on that one. It seems as though we're dead set to do that grant, so I think we should have some serious discussion about having Region 12 county governments administer this federal grant for us. And I'd make a motion that we, I guess we'd have to ask them.
I guess I'll fees are higher than you guys when we looked at that time.
What's that?
The administration fees are higher than what?
The administration fees were part of the grant, so we'd have to see if Region 12 would administer it.
So they would administer the grant and...
Yeah, they would send out the bid and do all the appropriate stuff for the grant. It is a federal grant.
Yep.
They administer grants for all the cities and 6 counties and counties and city of Perry and several cities outside. They'd have to agree to do it for whatever was written in the grant.
I talked to Joe Behrens today. John, I don't want to interrupt you, but
it's okay. I didn't talk to him.
I talked to Joe about administering grants and what's the process. So Joe kind of ran me through what you do in administration. So there's all kinds of regulations that you have to watch when you get a federal grant, and they watch that, watch how we spend the money, take care of the money, obviously. But one thing that he told me was that the fees are written into the grant, so whatever that is, that's what they'll do it for. So I mean, we would have to talk to them and get we would have to execute a contract with them, and then they would do that for that. And one other thing that Joe told me too was that when you have an engineer come in and engineer the project and administrate the grant, he said they have a lot of control over what goes on in that certain project. And this is what they do. So he said, I'm going to sell you on this. You guys take it for what it's worth. But that's what they do all the time. So, and I'm not trying to sway you one way or the other. I don't have an opinion.
So basically what they're going to do is they're going to take information in this book and administer it. Is that correct?
No, that's the engineering.
Otherwise you're going to pay for another engineering firm to come in and do this?
No, that's the engineering. They're going to do the grant.
Okay, but
when we get the money in,
there's going to be some engineering cost again on this.
Well,
no, MSA can still engineer it.
Okay, that's what I want to make.
They can still do all the engineering.
What's the advantage of Region 12 doing the grant and instead of all with MSA then?
I guess I feel like there's a little bit of a conflict of interest between administrating the grant and also being an engineer, and making sure you have all your I's dotted and T's crossed, because it is federal money. And I just want to bring it up because I feel that, well, first of all, I was opposed to it, so I might bring that up too. But, I'd like to see the city at least be covered by somebody else that knows what they're doing. It's period for the protection of the city. If you guys don't want to deal with that, I really don't care, because, my attitude.
Did you make a motion, John?
We're still discussing.
I just asked.
Okay.
I just asked.
Because the fee probably wouldn't change either way. It's written into
It's in the grant, so that's what they'd have to do. I didn't talk to Joe Behrens in the meeting, but typically they'll do it whatever's written in the grant.
And the reason why I called Joe, I also talked to MSA, but the reason why I called Joe is because I don't know what that means to administer a grant. So I wanted to talk to him and just see what it means, you know. So he talked to me for about 25 minutes and told me what they do.
Well, I think they organize the bidding process too, don't they?
He didn't say anything about that, but I suppose they could.
They get the bids, or what do they do?
Who?
For
Well, I think
administrating
there's
the
the
Oh, they're gonna use it.
request for,
I think your engineer still has to do the bidding, or be in charge of the bidding.
But here's the notes that I took. It says they have to monitor bidding, federal regulations and contractor regulations. I guess there's a lot of federal regulations that have to be done. Then we have to execute a contract. And he said MSA could still be the engineer for the project. And one thing that I start is Joe says it's not good for a city to have MSA be the engineer and the administrator. And he said, not that I'm saying anything bad about MSA, he said any engineering company to be the administrator of a grant and the engineer is just too much, he said. They have too much control, was the way he put it.
And what did MSA say about it?
Well, they sent me this 3-page list of what they do when they administer a grant. Contracting with IDED, review the owner's state contract for accuracy. I mean, I can go through it, but
Pretty much the same thing John Barron said.
basically, just a lot more detail. And I'm sure if Joe would have written it out, you know, it would have been detailed too.
Well, you know, I mean, if you had two people applying for the job, one looks a little more organized than the other. Not that they're not doing that, but I mean, they
Right.
have the stuff right at their fingertips. So this is what it is. We'll send this to you.
Right.
You know, and I'll talk to you on the phone. You know, I have no problem with Region 12, other than we can't get them to update our policies.
No, they haven't done that either.
You know, I mean, that's the other side of that. I would hope that Region 12 would show up and do it correctly.
And I did
And I
ask him
think
that
they would.
question since you brought it up, and he said in another month they should have it done. So, for what that's worth.
You know, that's the only problem I have with Region 12. It seems like every time that we've dealt with Region 12, they drag their feet a little bit on something.
Well, I
guess I've never noticed
I think
that.
in the ordinance cases, I think the ball was dropped after Marlene left, because we had passed that about the time that she was discharged and stuff, so I don't know if the level of communication was kept going forward. And I don't want to make excuses, but that's just my guess.
Well, didn't we contract with MSA to do a water study? Now we got this big book, but weren't they gonna do a study?
They did.
Yeah.
It's all right in there. What do you want to know about our water system? You want to know static pressures? You want to know where all the lines are? You want to know what size they are? You want to know what our capacity is? You want to know what our meters are doing? You want to know anything that's in that book if you just read it, John.
I read far enough to know I didn't want to go anywhere near that book.
I mean,
You know, the well costs 140 some thousand. I called up Rural Water and they do it for a third of that. We talked about the meters. They got 179,000. We priced the meters at 50,000. Where's the other 127,000? Nobody knows. I asked them about a $500 switch and why it costs $1,500 to install it. Nobody knows. So I talked to a person down in the Denison area that does electric, and he was speechless. Didn't know why it would cost that much to put in a switch. So it must be a pretty fancy switch. I don't know. I think it was the one to run the pumps back and forth or something. So I looked at all the numbers in there. I asked him about his spreadsheet, why we had 12 million gallons of water pumped, and he couldn't explain that.
I know, he doesn't know why we have $12 million, because we have no control over it. That's why he doesn't
Well, we don't pump
know.
12 million gallons, so why would he put it on his spreadsheet? But,
We
I
have
mean,
no
none of the
idea- we have
numbers
no
make a bit
idea.
of sense in there. I do analytical analysis every day, and it's the worst piece of crap I've ever seen. And you guys just blindly go ahead. I don't care, you know?
He was given all the
I've got
numbers.
3 more months, and I'm
He was
out.
given the numbers that are put on the spreadsheet. He got them
I
put on.
understand he was given the numbers that put on the spreadsheet, and he put them on the spreadsheet.
Okay. And he doesn't understand them either. He doesn't know why the hell we're running so much water through here.
We
I
don't.
either. Huh?
We don't run 12 million gallons of water through the place. I'll go get
It
the
ends up out
spreadsheet.
in our sewer ponds.
We don't pump that
Christ,
much
we
water.
drain it out and we fill it back up in 3 months.
The fact is the number was wrong. The number was incorrect, and he went ahead and used it. But I don't care. You know, the reason I brought up Region 12 council governments because they administer a ton of block grants. That's what they do for cities and counties in their 6-county area.
And I'll be happy to have them here if they show up and do it. But, you know, sometimes when you're in private industry and sometimes when you're in government industry, the government people don't seem to get stuff done in a hurry. Because they get paid the same no matter what. But I'm not opposed to having Region 12 administer the grant.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
You can't jump that far, John.
We're done. Oh, public forum. Sorry.
Are we you gonna finish the CDBG grant well water?
These guys got to make a decision. I don't care.
I mean, I'd entertain a motion if you want Region 12 to come in. We'll take a second.
Well, I'll make a motion that we contract with Region 12 to do the administration of the CDBG grant.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded.
Now let's have some discussion.
Okay.
Okay.
What is your feelings, Chris?
Well,
You have no opinion.
you know, you kind of put me right in the middle of a rock and a hard place.
Yeah?
Because I came into this in the middle. Now I do agree with John that all Region 12 does, not all they do, but a lot of what they do is administer grants. And I think that's important. And I can see where Joe says that if you have an engineer doing both, the engineering and the administration, that can get kind of tricky. You know, there's really no checks and balances.
Could be a conflict of interest type situation.
Do I think MSA can do the job? Yeah. Should we split it up? Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. That'd be my opinion.
Okay.
Right?
I'm kind of stuck on the MSA, so
I don't really care as long as they get it done.
that's,
They're
you
dragging their
know,
feet, we need to do
we've drug
something.
our feet to how long?
Yeah.
Region 12, that's what gets me on this ordinance, but I didn't even really want to rewrite it for,
I don't care what Region 12 does, it's not a real quick deal. But
Can you apply any pressure to them, Chris, to
Well, I'm sure that
I'm sure I can apply pressure, but
Region 12 is going to have to understand the deadline.
In order for them to get paid to do this, they've got to do it. So they've got a deadline to meet already.
that's probably a good point
I
right
mean,
there,
it's
Franny.
in this, and that's discussed in discussion. We already know that, first part of next year is, either we just have this ball rolling or else it's,
gone.
yeah, we try to get an extension, but if we don't have anything going on it, I doubt if we'll get an extension on it.
which is one reason probably why MSA will be more apt to jump on it and go.
Well, I'd say Region 12, in order for them to get any money out of this, they have to apply for the grant, because that's where the money's going to come from, is out of the grant.
Then move the second.
Okay. Roll call vote. John?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Gerald?
Aye.
Francis?
Aye.
Ray,
Nay.
contact Region 12. Chris? Give us an update on next month's meeting, please, to see what Region 12 says. And we'll go from there.
You want to wait that long, or do you want me to call you as soon as I know something?
I think you should call us as soon as you know something. Don't you think, guys? That's my opinion. You guys,
What's that?
We've delayed this long
Yeah,
enough.
we drive our
Yeah.
feet long enough in this thing.
as soon as you find something out, call.
Till the end of next year to do it.